Okay, so starting our practice in child's posture, letting the hips go, letting the head go, letting ourselves deactivate. And it actually takes will force to deactivate because many of us are prone to wanting to be active. So we have to will ourselves to be inactive and to release and to not be concerned with controlling, but only not controlling. Let's take a nice clearing breath as we're settled in the body, breathing in through nose, out through the mouth. Now let's bring our attention to those areas that we know are bothering us, know that they're achy or tense or tight. And so we can start let's locate 3 areas. So we'll start in the first area. So notice it, pinpoint it, watch it, just observe it. So if it's the hips or the neck or another spot that you know about, keep your attention there. And then we'll take 2 clearing breaths and settle into that space. So inhaling through the nose, keeping the mind on that spot. Exhaling out through the mouth. Once again. Now, before we move to the next area, keep your attention on that spot you were just focused on. And let yourself relax that space a little bit more. A little bit more. Now we'll move to that next space. So take your attention to spot number 2. That's very noticeable in kind of a negative way, right? Then we'll notice what it feels like at this time. Notice if we're still trying to hold on to it and to control it. And then let's allow the clearing breaths to affect that space. So focusing on that space, inhaling through the nostrils, clearing out through the mouth, releasing all tension in that space. And again. After those 2 clearing breaths, keep the attention in that space and allow yourself to relax that area a little bit more. And a little bit more. Okay, find a third place. Even if one doesn't come to mind right away, see if you can find a third place where you know that focusing on it will benefit you, even if it's not achy or tense. And then we'll go ahead and bring our attention there and observe it. What is it like? And then we'll find those clearing breaths. Inhaling through nose. Exhaling all tension out through the mouth. Letting that space release a little bit more. Once again. And then just keeping the attention there as you breathe normally. And using the mind to relax that space. Relax a little bit more. Okay, at this time, let's come into our victorious breath. Inhaling through the nose to initiate this. Opening the mouth, fogging out. The mouth stays open, fogging inwardly. Closing the mouth, exhaling through the nostrils. And doing our best to maintain this so the inhalation is audible, the exhalation is audible. And it becomes the background music to your practice. Maybe even the foreground music. So now we're going to start to rise upwards. Let's come up into a table posture. Hands and knees. And with the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, we'll move through cat-cows. This is really good to do with a lot of sitting as well, our cat-cows. Inhaling, belly dropping, tailbone shifting up, increasing the mobility here. As you lift the belly and drop the head and the tailbone, releasing stiffness in the low back, in the hips, by shifting the pelvis in and out. Now keep going and keep the attention first on the pelvis. So we're going to move our attention and let it focus on the pelvis first. Okay, continue this motion. Now bring the attention to the belly. And make sure that on that exhalation, at the bottom of the exhale, you pull the belly a little further in to help strengthen the core. And then inhaling, relaxing. Exhaling, pull it in all the way, empty the lungs. It's your final push on that exhale, and the belly pulls in very firmly. Okay, in a moment, we're going to shift the attention. So see if you can maintain this with the pelvis, maintain this with the belly, but then let's take the attention to the mid-back. So right like underneath between where the shoulder blades meet. So the next time you exhale and you pull the belly in, focus in the mid-back. Feel the shoulders separating, and then inhaling. And maybe feel the shoulder blades coming closer together. Feel the spine opening as you round the back. And then find that extension as you relax. So we're going to continue, and we'll move the mind, because where we move the mind is really going to change the space that we're focusing on. So we'll take it up the spine, right underneath the neck, so the upper back. And again, on the exhalation especially, really sense what's happening in that space as you drop the head and pick up the mid-back, the upper back. And a little bit more now, focusing on the neck. So just move up the spine, and then continuing on the exhale as you send the head down, notice the neck. Feel maybe or even hear little crackling sounds. And then as you pick up the head, feel the contraction there, the back of the neck. We'll come to a neutral spine. And then just pay attention now. So we have the hands doing some work. The wrists were contracted for quite a little bit. Let's move now into a side plank so we can start to open up the chest. Let's kick the left foot to the left. Send the right foot to the back of the mat, toes pointing the side of the mat. And then inhale, pick up the right arm and start to move this wrist around. So if the left wrist is tired of being contracted, you can rise up to the fingertips, left fingertips. We have the left knee for support, so that'll keep us here safely. And so moving this wrist a little bit more. And then let's still the right hand, bring the left palm back down if you rose up to the fingers, and lift the right leg. Okay, so just noticing, what muscles are starting to wonder, what are you doing? What are they activating? Are they kind of feeling like a little locked up? So we're just going to pick up the right leg and then lower the right leg. And then pick up the right leg and lower the right leg. So we'll be activating some of the muscles that we're going to focus on stretching and relieving tension. So just picking up straight leg, lowering. And you can do this to the pace of the breath, or you can go a little quicker as long as you keep the breath maintained in its evenness and deep quality. And then we're going to keep that right leg risen and just take 3 deep breaths. One more. Lower the foot, bring the right hand down. Come to the right knee. Let's do the other side. So we'll switch over to the right hand. Kick the right foot to the right first. Bring left foot to the back of the mat, toes face side of the mat. Pick up the left hand. You could feel that activity in the wrist. So we're going to now stretch it, move it around. So many of our yoga postures, when we're on the hand, they're strengthening the wrists. So they're going to get a little intense in the sensation there. Maybe you're on the fingertips of the right hand. Another deep breath. But we'll come back to the right hand and just keep this left hand nice and firm and unmoving, and then lift the left leg and notice what happens, what becomes engaged, maybe what parts of the body becomes confused. And then we'll lower the straight leg, and then a few times we're going to lift and lower. You might notice this side feels different from the other side. A few more. And then we'll keep this leg risen for 3 deep breaths. And exhale, left hand down, left knee down. Okay, let's roll over the toes, roll over the back toes, and then come to seated on the heels for a moment.
Begin to roll the shoulders a few times. Roll the other way. And then let's send the shoulders up, send them back, lower them down. Take the hands behind the tailbone, interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulders back as you straighten the arms and send the hands far away from the back as far as you can. Now a few times we're going to take chin tucks. So send the chin forward, pull the chin in, send it forward, pull it in. A couple more. And now we'll keep the chin in slightly and send the trunk forward to find the forehead to the mat. You'll be lifting the bottom off of the heels and then roll to the crown of the head. Sending the arms up overhead. You can come to tops of the feet. Feeling some weight on the neck. And release the arms, lower back into a child's posture. Releasing, maybe knees are good where they are, maybe they need to separate so you can rest the head. But then see if you can rest the arms. So if the knees are closer together, maybe able to bring the arms alongside the body with the palms flipped upwards. And then, as they say, breathing into the back. If you inhale and fully breathe, you can feel the back rising. And when you exhale, you feel the back falling. Keep your attention there. Then we're going to also bring the attention to another part and then hold those two parts in our attention. So you're watching the back rise and fall. Then watch the rib cage press out and draw in. So inhaling, back rising, rib cage pressing out. Feeling it along the thighs. And then exhaling, releasing, back comes down, rib cage draws in. Two more breaths like this. And releasing on the exhalation, keep the breath strong and evenly paced. Rise up to table posture, hands and knees. Now we're going to move into pigeon, and I think today is a really good day to spend more time than usual in that space so we can get into the deeper layers. So let's pick up the right leg behind, just lifting it here. Move around in the ankle, take some circles there. A little bit longer in the circle and the circling of this ankle. Sometimes I recently actually realized that I need to do more in my ankles. I had my chiropractor adjust my right ankle, just my right ankle. The way that I sit in a seated meditation, I think, is changing that position. And so it's interesting how important it is that we need to focus on these spaces. So now let's go ahead and we feel that glute, right, active. We're going to stretch it. So we'll take right knee to right hand, send the left leg back. Before we go there, we'll stay up in a back contracting posture. So we'll keep the heart lifted. Start to sense the left quadricep and the left hip flexor. Remembering there's two sides to everything, so we want to stretch one side, the left side in the front is being stretched, and we're stretching the right back side. Now we're going to see if we can stay up here without the support of the hands. So start to lift the hands and just see what do you have to activate to come up there. Maybe you can take the hands behind the back and interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back here, open up the chest. And now we'll take one more breath. and start to relax in and let go. Find that sweet spot where the forehead can rest comfortably, where the hips are level with each other. We'll be here a few minutes. Let's see how long, at least 2 minutes today. And if we can just focus and be aware of what is changing in these muscles that we're working on, then it becomes really exciting, right? So just focus on the breath, focus on those spaces, watching change before your mind's eye. Anytime that you notice you could go deeper, but you're wondering in which ways can we go deeper, we can, of course, send the right foot further to the left. Just keep the hips balanced. One way that I like to get a little lower into this posture is not necessarily that way, maybe a combination of that. Then I like to bring the left side of the face to the mat and then allow my right arm to rest alongside the right side of the mat, like the shoulder is resting on the right thigh and the left arm is resting forward. So that's another way to be able to just be here and find a restful position. Just being lovingly patient with these parts of our bodies that we use so much and sometimes we underuse. Still here. Maybe even letting that loving patience fill the space. Letting this position be, being patient with the position, patient with the space that we're working on. Probably about 10 more deep breaths. So we've been here, I think it's been actually about 4 minutes. Now, this is a point, we've reached a point where if we were to get up, we're going to miss getting into the deeper layers. This is the moment where it starts to feel really intense. Most likely it's similar for you. If we get up, we're going to lose an opportunity, and it's going to be really uncomfortable if we stay, but in the end, it's going to pay off. So let's see if we can just be here a little bit longer. Let ourselves be in that discomfort with loving patience, knowing that really we're being so kind to the body by spending extra time in this position today. Getting a little bit more intense. Let's say just a little longer. Maybe just over 30 seconds. Take a couple clearing breaths. Ooh, it's getting really deep. So we're gonna start to rise now. So, it's probably about 7 minutes. So we're gonna rise, but we're gonna roll to the right hip. And slowly bring this left leg, very slowly. Bring this left leg forward. Ooh. Pick up the right leg, might need the hands to help, and then just straighten the leg. Bring it straight forward on the mat. And we're just going to recline for a moment. So come all the way down. Let the arms rest behind. Maybe give the legs a little bit of a shake, just taking toes in and out on both legs. Nice deep breath in and out. Okay, keep the legs still now. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. Now we were in this position for a while, but we were with heart down. So you can sense those contracted muscles, and contracting them again feels pretty intense. Take this right leg over to the right. You can keep the knee bent and just push onto the right leg with the right arm. Left arm might stay behind comfortably, or you might bring it out to the left. You could turn the head a little bit left and right. Take a deep breath in and out. And now bring this knee to center. Extend the leg. We're going to rise up to seated. So you can bring elbows down to the mat alongside the body. Push into the elbows. Lift the head and the trunk. Bring one hand down at a time. We're going to come into a half hero posture. So we'll take the right foot to the right of the hip, the right hip. If you need some assistance, elevating the hips will be good. If this is just not working because you have knee injury or anything like that, then you can bring right foot to the inside of the left thigh and drop the knee. Otherwise, knees are parallel to each other. The thighs are parallel to each other. And we're going to start to recline here. So we may be here for a little bit. I'd say at least a minute or two. This is a good spot to use a prop for the reclining position. So if you're able to go down, let's say more like if you can get down towards the forearms, if you bring some blankets or a couple blocks behind the back, you can rest right there, right on top of them. If you feel like you need more than that, of course, then your back would come flat onto the mat. I'm going to keep the right knee down. When I have that right foot, it's pretty much extended. So that ankle, right ankle is extended, and you have the foot lined up with the lower leg. So let's see if we can be here in a restful way. Maybe you relax the arms behind you, or bring hand to heart, hand to belly. You might pull the pelvis in a little bit, increase the stretch, and then just relax the pelvis. You do that a couple times or more. Couple more deep breaths at least. So we're slowly going to start to rise. So if you're all the way on the back, you'll rise up to elbows, then one hand at a time. And from here, we're going to come into a fold. So this right leg, we'll take it out to the right a little bit. Take it a little, you could take it all the way. And you can keep that right leg bent. Bring the arms upwards, flex the left foot, and then on the exhale, fold forward. You can let the head release. Just feeling some stretching in the low back, the back of the left leg. It's a good spot for maybe some support for the head, maybe a block underneath the head. Left knee can be straight or it can be bent. Maybe let the body get a little heavier here, the head and the back. Couple deep breaths. And we'll start to rise. Okay, so in rising, let's come out of this position and find our way to hands and knees once again. So in hands and knees, move through a few cat-cows. As you're moving through, hopefully you can sense, even if it's subtle, some differences between the left side of the body, the right side of the body. Those different places, back of the legs, the hips, the front of the thighs, the hip creases. We'll create some evenness. So we'll come into a neutral table pigeon on the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg behind, press through the heel. Just take a breath or so right here. And then exhale, left knee to left hand, right leg slides back. We're going to stay up in a back bend to start. So we'll be contracting the back. But we'll have hands for support first. Okay, then if it feels right to you, you're going to lift the hands. And when you do that, notice what happens. You're going to need to contract the glutes. You need to contract the back body. Maybe take fingers behind. Stretch the chest, straightening the arms. It's difficult to be there, so do what works. Lots of different variants for every posture. and then we'll be releasing and exhaling and lowering and coming back into that loving patience, that kind waiting period for the layers to find themselves in more open, more receptive positions where our fluids can move through, where we can be better nourished in those areas and all the areas they connect. Since we're here for a long time, remembering to let yourself adjust. Make changes so that you can get deeper. Listening to the rhythmic quality of your breath. If you find that it's erratic, come back to rhythm. Let that be the music of your practice. And let that music inspire the space that you're opening. Okay, we've been here for about 3 minutes. We're approaching that moment where it gets more intense. Just patiently being in that discomfort as we continue to breathe. Getting deeper and deeper into these layers. These longer held postures are the ones that can really affect the changing of the structure that we're working with the bones and the ligaments. Deeper than the surface muscles. Patiently resting just a little bit longer here.
I think we're closer, probably about 10 breaths or so. Noticing that with all these breaths, it's actually hard to be anything but calm. All these deep rhythmic breaths. Rest in the intensity. Just another moment. I think we're close to 7 minutes. It might have been 6, so really, if I lose track of the clock, I'm going by what I'm feeling in my body. And then I can tell if it's time to move on. So we're almost there. That's good. Let's start to come up nice and easy. Use the hand. Roll to the left hip. It feels almost like it's stuck in this position. They're going to take this right leg forward. We'll come all the way down to the back. Nice and slow. Straighten the leg. Maybe use the hands for some assistance. And stretch the legs long. Take the arms behind. And then we're going to contract this hip flexor again. So bring this left knee in. Ah. And then take the left hand and guide the knee over to the left as you push down with this inner leg. Right arm can go out to the side or behind. You feel some buzzing. You're feeling an enlivening effect in that space. And we'll bring the leg to center. Extend the leg forward. Last time we took some time actually to shake the legs out, so let's do that as well. Let's shake the legs out. Just rocking the feet back and forth, letting the body follow. And rest the legs for a moment. And notice at this time, hopefully you feel an imbalance between the left hip flexor and the right, those hip creases. Right, the right is going to be more open than the left. So let's change that now. So we're going to come to elbows and lift the head and the trunk, come to hands, and then change the position of the left foot to come to the outside of the left hip. So the knee starts to go out to the left. So we're going to bring it back so it's centered. The thighs are parallel to each other. And this is where we may or may not be using the props behind the back, but you could just start to walk hands behind first. Keep the knee down. Maybe you're able to find the forearms. Most people really are at the hands because this is a very, very tight area. But if you can get to the forearms, maybe you find a prop to rest the back on. You might find that you can lie the back flat, remembering that we can pull the pelvis in to encourage the opening of the space. Soften the face, soften the temples.
Couple deep breaths. And maybe just a few more. Make sure that we're even. Feeling the body more open, less tense, more relaxed. And now we're going to start to rise and prop into the elbows if you're going to come from the back. And once you've lifted the trunk, take the left knee out to the left. Reach the arms up, come forward. Let the neck relax here. It doesn't have to drop down all the way, just kind of soften a little bit. But just find a place that feels right. And then you might notice the side of the, or this leg more tight or less tight than the other side. So we'll take a few deep breaths, making sure the right foot is flexed. Another deep breath. And we'll start to rise up. Okay, so let's come back to hands and knees and move through a few cat-cows, and we're going to start to work on the neck and the shoulders. Okay, let's come into neutral spine. Next inhalation, pick up the right arm. On the exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. Come down to the right shoulder, right side of the face. Now from here, we're going to just let the left arm relax. Straighten that right arm. So really feel like those fingers are moving forward away from the shoulder, right shoulder. Keep the arm straight, fingers stretch forward, and then pull the right shoulder in. You're pulling it back. Now, if it feels right, you might lower the hips down towards the heels. You could try it and say, I like it, or I don't like it. So if not, then just come right back up. And then even experiment. Maybe separate the knees from a table posture. And let the thighs relax. Keep pulling the right shoulder in. One more deep breath. And then we'll take the left palm down, inhale the right arm upwards. Exhale, right hand down, inhaling the left arm up. Exhale, thread the left arm through. Settle in. Let the weight of the body encourage this posture. Get into the right spaces. So we'll straighten this left arm, send those fingers forward, away from the shoulder, and then pull the left shoulder in. Pulling it back. Finding the right position for the hips. Maybe lower towards heels or knees apart. Another breath or so. We'll have the right palm down. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale the hand down. And then let's come to seated. You can cross the ankles, come down to the bottom. So let's, before we go further, notice that we've worked from the lower parts of the body and we're working our way up, and you can sense that just in where you're feeling the tension. So now let's roll the shoulders. Roll them the other way. Settle the shoulders down, take the arms out to a T, and then find a side bend to one side. Hand comes down, opposite arm comes up and over. Keep both sitting bones down. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, switch to the other side. Inhale, come to center. Lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Take them back, lower them down. Draw the chin down and in towards the neck. Now let's cross the arms in front of the chest. And so we still have the chin down, arms crossed. Pick up the head, take the chin up. Bring the chin back to center. Tilt the head to one side, keeping the ear, one ear, moving upwards towards the ceiling. Bring the head to center. Take the other ear upwards. Let's go a little deeper. Bring the head back to center. Tilt the head to one side. Ear is looking up. And now start to turn the head downward, keeping that ear still lifted to some degree, but now it's coming more forward. And then sending the ear upward, keeping the tilt, sending the ear forward. Upward. Ear forward. Now what we'll do is just keep our position here with that ear more forward. And now take the ear back up and bring the head back to center. So let's switch to the other side. Tilt opposite ear upward. And now we'll start to bring that ear forward, keeping the tilt, ear upward. A few more times. Our physical tension can influence and does influence our moods, and it's really important that we keep the body free of that negative influence, that negative influencing power that it has over our minds. So now, when you're ready, just keeping that ear forward. Take the ear back up and then bring the head to center. Okay, release the arms, move the shoulders in circles. Give some motion as well to the head. You might take semicircles or full circles. And what we'll do is actually allow some sense of looseness to take over the body. So maybe you're taking little circles or semicircles with the head. Start to move the spine with this. Maybe you dip in and lower and rise. Maybe finding circles with the trunk. And then finding the head to center once you've evened out. I'm going to do one more thing before we lie down. So we'll take the hands to the upper trapezius, so the base of the neck. We'll take the fingers right there and just put some pressure. It's a little bit of self-massage. Just put some pressure working from the back forward. So a little behind and then moving towards that bulge towards the base of the neck. Now as you're doing this, you might gently move the head side to side. And so you could be pressing on one side and then the other side, or doing both at the same time, whatever feels right. That pressure on the muscle and the subsequent turn towards it is really helpful. And if you can even just keep persistent pressure, just push down on both sides and move the head left, right. And now we're going to take our fingers and bring them forward. Bring them forward around that hump, right? The top of the muscle, and then forward towards the clavicle. And just start to move the fingers right to the top of the upper trapezius, downward towards the clavicle. And we'll let the arms go. We're going to just find some extension in the arms, maybe take them out or up. And those elbows bent for a while can take a toll. So maybe stretch the arms upwards, move side to side, or stretch the arms themselves. So just take a couple breaths here to move. And then we'll come down to the back to rest the body. And actually, before we get, I'll say that over and over, before we rest, we're going to take a hand actually to the elbow area as you're lying down, and you'll put some pressure, so some self-massage right here, and like towards the inside of the elbow, the top of the forearm essentially, right towards between the inside and outside of the elbow. And just put a little pressure there. Encourage the space to relax. And then switching other side. At that topmost part of the forearm. And we'll start to let go and relax the body completely. Taking the arms alongside, palms flipped upwards, toes pointing away from each other. Let's work with the mind and relaxing from the feet to the crown of the head today. So take a deep breath in. Exhale out through the mouth. And now focusing on the feet, let the big toes relax. The second toes, the third toes, the fourth toes, and the fifth toes. Feeling all 10 toes softer now and relaxed. Going underneath the toes, right under the toes, the ball of each foot. relaxing that space, moving towards the center of the foot, relaxing the arch. Relax the arch a little bit more. Release the inside of the heel, the center of the heel, and the back of the heel. Now relax the tops of both feet. Relax the ankles, the front of the ankles, the side ankles, outer and inner, the back of the ankles. And work your way up to the lower leg, the front of the lower legs, the insides of the lower legs, the back sides of the lower legs, and the outer parts of the lower legs. We're going upwards, relax the knees and the front of the knees, the inner parts of the knees, the back of the knees, the right of the knees, and then go more interior into the knee joints. Work your way up the thighs, front of the thighs, inner thighs, back of the thighs, sides of the thighs, outer, and then feel the full thighs, left and right, both relaxed. Rise upwards and take your attention to the pelvis and the hips, and feel the hip crease relax, the sides of the hips relax, feel the glutes relaxed, and finding as well the groin relaxed, and working your way upwards. Feel the core relaxed, the front, the belly, the sides, and the waist, and the low back. Now go internally and feel the organs all relax. And the abdomen, all the organs relaxed. Move your way up now towards the solar plexus and the chest. Feel the muscles in the chest relaxed. Wrap around to the sides underneath the armpits and the back, mid-back, upper back relaxed. And now go interior and find the organs relaxed in the chest, in the mid, and right underneath, so including the lungs, the heart, the esophagus, all relaxed there. Go up a little bit now towards the shoulders and let the relaxation travel down from the shoulders into the elbows, into the wrists, into the fingertips. Now let all the fingers relax. Let the hands relax. Let the wrists relax. The forearms all around the forearms. The elbows all into the elbows, relax. The upper arms all relax, the shoulders relaxed. All the joints in the shoulders relaxed. Now crawling up towards the neck, relaxing all around the neck, the front of the neck, feeling the larynx relax, the sides of the neck, the back of the neck. Now let that go all the way up to the jaw, relaxing the jaw, the ears, like liquid light, that sense of relaxation just moving up through the face, The lips, the nose, the cheeks, the eyes, the temples, the forehead, all the way up the sides of the head, rising upwards until you feel it come into the crown of the head, completely relaxed. From feet to the crown of your head. Now we're going to let ourselves deepen the breath, but with a very specific intention behind every inhalation and every exhalation. So in every inhalation, draw in love. Let the whole body experience that as you exhale, absorbing that love. Inhaling love through the whole body and mind. And on the exhale, letting that absorption happen in the relaxation that the exhale brings. Inhaling love, exhaling absorbing. Now we're going to start to move the hands and the feet. You can rotate the hands, rotate the feet. Feeling now the whole body rejuvenated and energetic, yet feeling relaxed. Take the arms behind, find length. And we'll bring the knees in, arms around the knees. Let's move a little with the knees rocking side to side. The head can go in the same direction or opposite direction. And we're going to roll to one side. Press your way up to seated. We'll seal our practice. Bring the arms upward, palms together, draw them in. Let's sound Om together. Deep breath in. Let the love and patience that you cultivated within you today carry you into the evening and beyond that. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.